Hey, what's up everybody? It's George here and we're back with another unboxing. Well, it's the beginning of March here in Northeast Ohio, and they say March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Well, I hope it goes out like a lamb so I can get out and fly, and it's definitely coming in like a lion. It's been raining and windy all day and we're just under a tornado watch, so it's good to be indoors and doing an unboxing. Now, I was looking for something that was a little bit different than the planes and the helicopters that I fly, and I've been noticing people flying these quads, so I decided to go ahead and get one. I bought Blade's MQX. It's a this is the bind and fly version, and it's their quad, and I've seen some videos and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead, I'll get the styrofoam out of the box and we'll go on with the task. Okay, I've gotten the styrofoam out of the box, and once again, you didn't have to watch me struggle getting it out of the box, and struggle I do. So let's get right on with the task at hand. First thing out of the box, of course, the familiar Blade manual. I would strongly suggest that you read through the manual, especially if you're not familiar with quadcopters. They talk about the X configuration, the Plus configuration. There's information on binding it to your receiver, so definitely read through this manual. Also included is some additional information on smart binding. I also suggest that you use this. Smart binding is the technology where the radios don't get confused when they're in the same area talking to each other. They also have the toolkit, and I say that tongue-in-cheek. The toolkit is simply a screwdriver. That's going to tell us something about the durability and simplicity of this craft. If all you need is a screwdriver, there's not that many parts. Hopefully everything will be going good for you as far as the repair department goes. They've also included some decals that you can put on your canopy and spruce it up a little bit. There's some information about your LiPo batteries. This is going to use a 500 milliamp battery, and fortunately it's the same battery as the Blade 120 SR, so I have some spare batteries that I'll be able to use with this. They've also included some spare props, and notice that there's white props and black props. The difference is deals with the different configurations that you can fly this in, and we'll talk a little bit about that more. Inside of the box, first thing out of the box, of course, the standard Selectra charger. This is the same charger that you get with most of Blade's products. They work well, and now I have another one that I can add. They also have the 120 volt power adapter. I like that. I really don't like battery chargers that take batteries to charge the batteries. I prefer to plug it into the wall. They also give you an adapter to the Mini JST, and that's for the charger, and that's so you can charge up the batteries. And speaking of the batteries, they give you one battery with it, and like I said, the same exact battery as the Blade 120 SR. And finally, out of the box is the quadcopter itself. The first thing that I notice is that it's a lot smaller. It appears to be smaller than what I was expecting, but we'll see what that looks like when I get it in the air. It may look a little bit different when the blades are spinning. It appears to be very light, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of construction to it. So let's go ahead. Let's take it downstairs, put it on the bench, and get a closer look. Okay, so we have it on the bench. We can take a closer look at it, and the first thing that we notice is the canopy. It does have a very nicely designed and crafted canopy. It already has some decals applied, but you can apply additional decals that came with the kit that you can put them on. I don't know if I will or if I won't. It appears to be very straightforward and simple. There's 4 masts. At the end of each mast is a motor. The motor is pretty close in size to what you would see, let's say, on a Blade MSR. That's about the size of it. I'm sure it's a special motor, but size-wise, that's what it's close to. There are 4 props that are attached to each of the motors, and really the wonder that makes this thing fly is the circuitry that's underneath. So let's go ahead and pop off the canopy and take a look at that. Okay, I've got the canopy off, and the very first thing that we notice is there's not a lot to this craft. Basically, there's just a frame and a circuit board. The circuit board, of course, is doing everything necessary to keep this thing level in the air and responding to our stick inputs. All of that is very amazing technology. It is using the ASX3 technology, and that's automatic stabilization on 3 axes. So we know it's going to be a stable craft. It's using a standard mini JST connector that fits the battery. Nothing special there. The booms appear to be carbon fiber, and they do have the wiring for each motor going down through the center of the boom. We can take a closer look at the landing foot mechanism along with the drivetrain, and it's all contained in one unit, and it's pretty simple. There's the landing foot. There's a drive gear with a shaft. There's a bearing on the bottom and a bearing on the top, and the prop goes on top. And finally, a small drive pinion gear on the motor, and that's all there is to it. So, as we can see, it looks pretty simple, looks pretty straightforward. I say we go and get this thing up in the air and see how it flies. Okay, we're here in the conference room and I'm ready to take her for her maiden flight. Before I do, I want to talk a little bit about the different configurations. Currently, it's in the default configuration, which is the X configuration. The X configuration is more suited toward intermediate to advanced pilots, while the Plus configuration is more suited toward newbies and new pilots. I'm going to leave it in this configuration and I'll see how it flies, and if I need to adjust, I will. Changing configurations is pretty easy. It's during binding, you simply apply rudder stick, and the instructions clearly state how to do it. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and back up and let's take this puppy up and see how it's going to fly. I have absolutely no idea of what to expect, so let's see how it does. First, I'll try to take it up and hover it. Wow, amazing. Amazing out of the box. Let me give it a little trim here. One click of elevator trim. Seems to be very stable. I am totally amazed at how this thing is flying. This is remarkable. Let me go ahead and try to spin it around, do a little nose in here. Once again, very stable. I can't even begin to tell you how pleased I am. Let me go ahead and turn it around. I'm going to try a little aileron roll or two just to see how responsive it is. Whoa, it's definitely responsive, and it seems to be responding to cyclic with absolutely no problem. Let's try a pirouette. We'll see what the pirouette rate is like here. Let me get it stabilized. Well, that's about full rate of pirouette. It seems to be a little bit slower than what you would expect on a helicopter, but you know, it has no tail rotor, so it's just doing it with the propellers, and my goodness, it's doing a really good job. Let me go ahead and I'm going to take it around the room a little bit and see if I can do some circuits with it. Seems to be flying real nice. I would imagine once I get used to this thing, I can get it zipping around a room with absolutely no problem at all. I'm having no problem controlling it. Seems like it's flying real good. I have complete control over it. I gotta say, overall, this is outstanding. It does appear, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little elevator pitch here and see. Oh yeah, I can probably get this thing really moving around this room. But it's doing good, it's doing good. Take it around for another quick circuit. I find that it responds pretty closely to a helicopter. I have cyclic control. I have control over the altitude. Once again, there's no collective pitch on this, but man, it flies good. Let me go ahead and land it, and now that we know that it flies like a top, let's go ahead and go back and we'll talk a little bit more and do a little review of this amazing little quad. Okay, we've unboxed it. We've taken it downstairs and got a closer look on the bench. I've taken it into work, did the maiden flight, flew it around the conference room a little bit. I hope you got a good idea of what this helicopter is about. my closing thoughts are this was very, very easy to fly, an easy transition from these smaller fixed pitch helicopters. I had no problem acclimating to it at all, and I was actually surprised at the maneuverability of this thing. I'm really curious to see how it does at higher speeds outdoors. More videos possibly coming about that, but overall I'm very, very pleased and very excited to have this as a part of my fleet. So once again, thanks for watching everybody, and as always, happy flying, friends!